That could be a cold open. Hit record.
Well,
I want to hear about that.
I was gonna ask actually, what even happened last week? Did you all just do an after bark, or an extra long after bark, or did shit just not happen last week?
That's what the cold open is going to be about, because nothing happened, and I apologize for that.
Oh wait, I forgot about that. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, because Solace had mountains of overtime. I was busy out of town that weekend, and Ruby also probably was out of town that weekend. I don't know. Ruby's always
probably out of
got
town.
something going on.
Dude, my mom was like, "You traveled 3 times last month," and I'm like, "There are only 3 weekends in a month."
Yeah.
Was I even home ever?
Right.
Jesus, I'm trying to prepare for FWA right now. I might go to Anthrocon. It's a little. It's all so much. Anyway.
Yeah.
I got over 100 hours on my paycheck coming.
God damn. So yeah, obviously
22 extra hours. Oh, and it came from majority of last week. It was not split very well between the 2 weeks.
Like, obviously, work comes first, because that's what's going to make you the most money. I am making money by doing this rehearsal with this group that, well, not really a group, but I could go into detail about that here in a second, but yeah, just, you know, life comes first sometimes, and I really should have made a post about it, or somebody should have made a post about it, and we didn't, and I apologize for that. But yeah, cold open, yeah. Ruby, why do you sound so far away?
I am far away. I'll be right back to my desk in a second.
Okay.
What are we doing?
We're waiting for Ruby to get back close to their desk.
Who are we?
Who are we? Bark, bark,
Where are we?
When do we want it? Now. Where do we want it? In the app.
Fucking broke something. God damn it. I'm so frustrated.
Uh-oh. I'm also weirdly frustrated today. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
Solace, how are you doing?
I'm frustrated.
Are you really? Dude, why are we all just pissed off today?
I just explained what happened with my dog in like the last 2 hours.
Oh, you know what? That's valid. I don't even have a reason.
Out late for work. Poor Ollie's got digestional issues, I guess, today, which it's been months since that's happened. So I don't know if he's sick or if he's just dealing with the temperature changes. On top of the fact that because of that, he decided, I guess, to slightly think he was in trouble and had a little accident on the floor.
Oh boy.
But he's okay, and everybody's okay, and everything's fine. He didn't want to eat tonight, so I do think he has a little bit of a stomach problem. Watching that.
I don't even like.
Hopefully, he doesn't cost me an arm and a leg.
I don't even have a reason today.
Wait, hang on.
There's a disturbance in the force.
There is.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I know what it is, Misha. You're so upset of Skype closing down.
Yeah, that's what did it. Yeah, the thing that I used maybe twice in my life.
See, Skype was like, man, that's our gap.
Can I clarify? Can I clarify? It wasn't the age that was an issue. My parents just didn't let me use it.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't allowed to.
Okay.
I was allowed to use a lot of things. I was old enough.
A Kit kid?
Oh, God. I unfortunately was a Kit kid for like a month, and then I was like, this is bad. This sucks.
How many pedals were in your? How many PDF files were suddenly in your DMs?
Enough where even I was like, this is bad. Like me at like 14, I was like, I don't think I want to be here. But no, I wasn't allowed to use a lot of things like MySpace. I was definitely around when that was a thing, and I wasn't allowed to make a profile. God no. All my friends had profiles though. That was neat. Had to watch them have fun. But yeah.
Skype was like the really big messenger back in my furry Second Life days, I want to say. Maybe a little bit at the end of that DeviantArt chat room phase I was in.
Oh god.
But yeah, we had a lot of our calls were through Skype instead, like not like Discord really wasn't around, or I don't even think it was a thing.
No, I don't think it was back then.
A lot of Skype calls, a lot of group chats, a lot of RP.
The RP.
All gone. All gone. I love how Microsoft refused to let that shit die for this long. They were literally like, after they purchased it, they're like, we're going to include it on every Windows device that we can possibly push it onto. And people just like, we're not going to fucking use this thing. There's so much better out there.
Yeah, it would have been cool.
That was your chance, dog.
We still can't hear you. You're still.
Who are you?
You're
Where
still
are
in
you?
the other room.
I'm on the floor because I dropped something and I have to pick it up right now, and I broke it, and I'm pissed.
Oh no.
Because you have a dog, and yes, I get that. I think that's my next step with Ollie, personally, is that I need to go through this entire house, and I need to Ollie-proof it perfectly. So, Misha, you know the little otter from MFF?
Uh-oh.
I was given one that already was missing an eye.
Yeah.
From my booth, Eric. Let me have one for free. It was slightly damaged, and I was really happy. And I was like, I'm gonna cherish it. And it was probably a month ago or later now. I was just doing games, streaming or something. I can't remember. And Ollie was just kind of fucking off, faffing about, doing whatever. And I hear him, like, in his kennel. I'm like, why are you in your kennel? Like, he goes in there occasionally. But I was like, why are you in your kennel this time? So I look over, and I see Polyfill. I'm like,
oh no.
that's not good.
No.
That's not good. There's not supposed to be Polyfill.
Yeah, no.
And then I look what's in his paws, and it's the little otter plush. And I'm like,
Right, I'm back.
no!
Welcome back.
And he absolutely ripped out the other eyeball. Thank God I didn't eat it, and I found it. And I took it from him, and I realized no plushie is going to be safe from that dog.
That's like sometimes Maple rats herself out. Like, I'll come back home, and she's just, like, cowering in her crate, and I'm like, what the fuck did you do? And I'll find it, like, 10 minutes later. And it's like, you son of a... I would have never found this if you weren't hiding in your crate.
He wasn't cowering in this. He was just in there nomming on it. He's just like, I'm going to eat this thing right here. So I like...
Zax will expose himself. If he steals something from the kitchen, he'll show me. He'll, like, creep into the room, and I'll see it in his mouth. I'll be like, hey, and then he'll scamper out of the... And then, like, run it outside. Because he can run through the dog door faster than, like, I can grab him. But he'll, like, show me first. Like, can I have this? No! Well, I'm having it anyway.
That was like, I was on a walk with Maple the other day, and I, like, got a text, pulled out my phone, replied to it, put my phone away, looked down at Maple, she's got, like, this, like, chicken wing or something just in her mouth, and I was like, hey! And as soon as I said hey, she just instantly just, like, dropped it, and we just kept walking, and I was like, the hell was that about? Just eat it real quick if I'm not looking. Why were you holding on to it?
Fool.
Dumb dog. Speaking of dumb dogs, welcome to Bark Bark Meow.
Woof.
I'm your host, Misha. To my left is... We never figured out if it's like stage left or stage right, but to my left is the other dumb dog, Solace. And to my right is an arguably, possibly dumb on days that end in Y, cat Ruby.
Only on the days that end in Y, though.
Only on the days that end in Y.
Yeah.
Have we ever asked the days why?
On Christmas, people ask why all the time. Do they ever ask how?
How?
I think there is a how as to why the days are.
A how as to why the days are.
That's a statement. That's a sentence.
My brain took a screenshot as you were saying that, but it makes sense. It's a complete sentence, unfortunately.
It's not as dumb as it sounds.
Anyway, we got some actual furry topics today. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy, honestly.
I think we need it.
We do. There's been a lot going on in the world. Let's all ignore that and focus on some furry stuff. So
I love furry stuff.
I also love furry stuff. It's why I became a furry, believe it or not. Is because of the
That's
furry
crazy.
stuff. Yeah.
I saw your video about how, like, let me read people's intro to the fandom / fucked up stories.
Oh, that was a fun video to do.
I bet.
It's a
How do you
lot.
feel about that?
It's like not less work, but it kind of is at the same time because then I don't have to write a script. So that part of it's easier, but and people like when you read off their stories and stuff, and I like reading other people's stories and experiences. So
Oh yeah, if you don't already, Misha's got a YouTube channel. Follow it.
If
Link
you're
here.
90% of
if you're here and you don't know about the YouTube, Props to you, honestly. I don't know how.
So hey, sometimes I pull fans into this, believe it or not. Sometimes.
No. I'm not saying you don't. I just feel like we've mentioned it enough. I don't know.
We've literally never mentioned your YouTube channel.
We have a couple times.
I feel like we've
Well-
mentioned YouTube and we've mentioned making videos, but I don't know if we've ever said like Misha's a YouTuber, which saying it out loud I feel cringe, but
Misha's a YouTuber. I'm a content creator, guys.
we are all
Nerd
content
emoji.
creators.
God, this is a derailment already. But fucking people
Is it-
isn't that just the fandom, but it's like in general, people will make that comment like, I hate when they call it content creation. It's like it's just what it fucking is. I mean, you can get super specific if you really want to, but it's just so easy to say it that way.
I've never heard anybody say they don't like it being called content creation.
Really?
A few
Oh,
people
it's-
on Blue Sky have said it.
Is that a common one?
Oh yeah, and I see people on TikTok and other places be like, "Oh, if they say they're a content creator, that's a red flag." I'm like, "God damn it! It's just a very general way of saying I make shit."
Yeah.
Technically, drawing is content and is creation, but if an artist
Yeah.
will get pissed if you call them a content creator.
Yeah, I think that's where the
Really?
issue arises.
I've never heard this.
I think that's where the issue arises is if like certain things you call content, or like if somebody just makes videos or just does one thing and they like are like, oh yeah, I make content, then it's like ambiguous, and I'm trying to figure out the exact problem they have with it. I think it's because they say like it takes the soul out of it and it just becomes like you make content for the sake of making content, and that's why you're calling it just that. I personally say that I'm a content creator nerd emoji because I do a bunch of like various things. I stream, I make videos, I do the other stuff sometimes, and like I stream, I stream.
I can put this, I think, maybe to the same terms because influencer has a really nasty connotation to it as well nowadays.
Yeah.
And the best way I can do is we can make a call back to Buddy. It's the poppy fur term as well. I think, or it's like whenever you hear somebody call themselves like, "I'm such an empath," you immediately are like, "No, you're not." It's like when somebody has to, or say, "Oh, I'm such a nice guy." No, you're not. If you have to call yourself what you are, it's like a problem, right?
Yeah.
I think that's I think it's like rolled into that realm where people have heard the worst people say, "Oh yeah, I'm a content creator," or "I'm an influencer," and they now associate those negative feelings and connotations to those that terminology, and that's why like I've never had a problem with you calling me a poppy fur because I don't see myself in like poppy fur derogatory. I don't see that being used against me that way. And you can tell by text, or you can tell by tone, right, or context, if they mean derogatory.
Oh yeah, I've had
two
people call me a poppy fur, and now it's a hashtag whenever I stream on Twitch that I use whenever I stream. Dude,
That's awesome.
I don't fucking care. I was just like, okay.
And I'm fine with people, like, there are people that are like, do not call me that. And like, that's fine. It's your preference kind of thing. Like, you definitely see that as a negative thing and you don't want to be called that. That's fine. Just like an artist is incredibly valid to say, don't call me a content creator. I'm an artist. You can absolutely feel that way. I don't think you should bite anybody's head off if they don't know. It's just like,
yeah,
there's those nuances. But I do think people need to, in general, in this conversation, like, if you hear content creator, don't think immediately negative. Don't, like, if the person is just like, oh, yeah, Salsa Wolf, cool. So, like, how'd you find the furry fandom? And then I start talking about, oh, yeah, also I make content, like, I just drop out, like, one of the things I do for the fandom, or in the fandom. It's like, don't immediately think I'm an asshole. Now, if the person walks up to you and goes, like, yeah, I'm a content creator, and like they have like that really obnoxious attitude, then you can start making your inferences. But
yeah, if they lead with that, they're not good. Also, if they say they're a Minecraft YouTuber, you should assume the worst. Is that a good one? Is that a did I do a funny?
You know what? Gank mid lane.
Oh, Jesus. Kill yourself. No, Solace is completely right. It's so funny when, like, I'm hanging out with friends at, like, furry cons or something, because there's a non-zero chance that I'll get recognized, or, like, that when I say hi, I'm Misha, or like hi, I'm Misha B. Barkin, people will know who that is.
Mhm.
I don't like that ambiguity. Whenever it's like we're talking to a group, there's always that moment of like, hi, I'm Misha. And if they're like, oh, hi, what's up? It's like, okay, cool. They don't know who I am. I'm not going to sit there and be like, yeah, I make YouTube videos. I'm a YouTuber, you know, I'm kind of a big deal.
I'm pretty popular, so
do you want me to sign your do you want me to sign your fursuit tail? Like, no. And if they know who I am, that's real, you know, that's cool that I meet
I've already
somebody
got a
that knows who I
Sharpie.
am.
I'll just sign your fursuit now.
I'll just do it, yeah. But like, if I run into somebody and they do know who I am, cool. We can like, oh my gosh, hi, I love your videos. Cool, yeah, thanks. And, you know, but if they don't know who I am, also cool. I'm meeting someone new. I don't sit there and be like, kind of a big deal. And I know that there are some people that do.
That's it. That's the vibe. It's I'm a kind of a big deal vibe.
Big deal. I do have a funny story.
The ego.
It was my friend Lexi, who I know doesn't listen to this podcast, but if you do, hi Lexi, love you. Lexi,
Hi, Lexi.
was not sober, and Lexi and I were hanging out downstairs. Yeah, right. Really, really good way to spend the FurCon. Unironically, that's not me being sarcastic, but
Yeah, that's how I spent my FurCon.
we were downstairs, and one of her friends walks up, and like, she was like, "Oh, hi, I'm XYZ," and I was like, "Oh, hi, I'm Misha," and Lexi's like, "Yeah, this is Misha. Misha B. Barkin. Do you know who they are? They do YouTube," and dude, my entire brain was like,
Oh,
Lexi,
God,
shut up,
that.
stop. They're like, oh no, that's really cool. I was like, haha, yeah. Dude, I felt so fucking awkward in that moment.
I feel fucking awkward, Jesus.
It was the worst, man.
I think one of my favorite things was, because I've gone through like the wave of being known and not being known. I'm a lot less known as I was years ago. It's a heyday of Twitter, heyday of like furry YouTube. I was around a lot of people in a lot of those networks. And going around Anthrocon with you, and even MFF to that point, but I think Anthrocon you were more recognized.
I think so.
We did a lot of different things at MFF too.
We did, yeah.
But we did hang out for a good portion of time at Anthrocon. I remember people stopping you a lot more, and it was weird because I'm used to people having to stop for me to get pictures with other people, and you were the one getting stopped the most. I was like, this is funny. This is actually so cool. It was such a weird experience being on the other side of it.
Yeah, because it was like, that was the first big con I'd ever been to, so I was like, well, you know, maybe like I'll run into somebody that knows me. And dude, it happened way more than I expected. I was like, holy shit, wait a minute. But yeah, none of what we just talked about was today's topics.
No, it was fun though.
The thing is, you called it a derailment. Can it really be called a derail if we were never on the rails to
Not
start?
on this show. On this show, it is what it is.
It's an alternate route on this show.
It's a side quest.
A side quest, yes.
Side quest summer, dog.
Side
Look,
quest.
we're out here at
summer.
110% this game.
Yeah. So we have two furry related topics today. Both of which I have to pull up receipts for, but I have the receipts. This past weekend was, I want to say it was called Garden State for the Weekend.
I'm gonna get on Blue Sky right now to see if I can't find it because I want to look up some stuff too, or at least be able to read along a little bit.
Yeah. I gotta find. There it is. Okay. There's the
Done.
The thread by Dogpatch Press. So basically, how this entire thread, because this is a long thread. This thread has been going on for, no joke, 5 months. I can't even get to the top of it, dude. Holy bingo.
Well, I clicked on one thing and I immediately something about NaziCon and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it's unironically being compared to Free For All.
Oh no!
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's
wait, I clicked on this one link, right? And from Dogpatch Press, and I am about halfway down the page, and I'm still scrolling to the top. What the fuck?
Yeah. So
what
happened was,
send me the receipts. I want to see that right now.
5 months, not 5 minutes. 5 months ago, there was certain furries that were banned from a lot of group chats where Garden State for the Weekend takes place, and you know, they were banned from all these chats and banned from the con chat, and all of a sudden a bunch of them just started getting unbanned. And you know the type of furries I'm talking about, the furries that are associated with like the raiders and alt-right and all of that jazz. They started getting unbanned, and everyone was like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? And, you know, Garden State being completely quiet. Is it Garden State or Golden State? I feel like it's
no, not Golden State.
It is Garden State.
It's Garden State fur. I'm looking at the tag here. It's not Golden State. GSFC would not allow this shit. That's
what I
California.
thought, yeah.
That is not gonna fucking. Well, I don't know what Garden State is. Where's Garden State?
That's the thing. I can't.
New York.
It is New York. Okay.
No, I'm waiting. Nobody sent me anything.
How the fuck does New York have a Nazi con? What? This might need to be like a whole like breakdown because I'm seeing like the PR guy left at some point. There's a lot.
Oh yeah, I'm planning on doing a video on it. Actually, I'm planning on doing a video on both of these topics. So a bunch of them started getting unbanned. This was 5 months ago, and it was like, hey, this sucks actually. And Garden State really didn't say anything about it and started really getting closer and closer and allowing these types of people into their group chats, and everyone in the group chat is like, hey, this sucks actually, and they're like, hey, can we not talk about politics in the group chat? You know, that sort of deal. Which is my absolute fucking plague with any type of... Oh, Argo just blue screened.
What the fuck? Why?
Huh. Anyway. Oh
Peace
no,
on.
anyway.
Let's go! Let's go!
But no, the
Homie's
fucking...
like, I'm on a speed run. He
Yeah,
doesn't
right.
get a speed run.
He did not get the speed run. Any percent computer crash.
80%. It technically counts if the game crashes. That's the end, right?
No, the fucking so bunch of people associated with raiders and alt-right getting unbanned and really chatting it up in there. And anytime somebody pointed that out, the group admins were like, no politics in here, which, just quick tangent, that's one of the things I loathe the most about like group chats and stuff. Like local chats is the word. Where it's always like, can we not have conflict? Can we not have like any talks of any of that sort of thing? They try to keep the peace way too much, and it's like, hey, this person is an actual fucking bigot. Let's get them out of here. Like, let's don't no politics your way out of this one, which we talked about in a previous episode. But anyway, so that is slowly happening over time, and they announced one of their guest of honors is Nick, I think is how you say it, and it's NIIC. Yep.
Yeah.
Who I don't know anything about. I just occasionally see their like green Sona. They're like always doing some weird little skit in VR or something. And it turns out they appeared on an episode of the Raiders podcast.
Whoa.
Yeah. Now, I would like to believe
that is
the benefit of the doubt, and they didn't know what they were agreeing to. However, there's some stuff that I'll get into later. Because, like, it's entirely possible that they didn't know who the Raiders were. And the Raiders, if you don't know who they are, they appear very nice. That's how they get you into their group, is they, you know, they appeal to you nice. Hi, Candy Corn, by the way. They appeal to you really nicely, and they're like, oh my gosh, ooh, we're such a fun and accepting group. And then you get there, and then it's just racism. Like, that's how they get you in it. So I imagine they approached Nick and was like, hey, let's have a fun, chill time. Let's all hang out and talk about stuff. And that they did.
It's all gonna be great. We're all gonna have a good time.
Misha.
What the Jesus?
Misha.
What?
I don't know how, but the civets involved.
Yes, I'm getting there. I know.
I just found the screenshot. It's in the
Yes.
Discord. Oh my god.
I know.
Oh god. I know I'm breaking things. All right, I need you to just go on your train of thought.
You're good.
I'm gonna get high after this and read.
Dude, yeah, it's a lot.
Fuck.
But
All right,
yeah,
please go. Sorry.
so we get to the weekend of the con. And Dogpatch Press, bless their heart, has been posting about this entire time. And, you know, they've been warning people, hey, don't associate with this con. Don't go to this con. Well, the con ends up happening. And there is very minimal people there. Like, hardly anybody there. To the point where people that were accepted for the dealer's den are leaving early. They're just packing up their shop and leaving early. It's not worth it for them to be there. And this other con nearby, Forget About It, which is a cute name, by the way, Forget About It.
Forget about it.
They're nearby. They're having their own con. And they made a post. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's in my likes.
The only thing I saw on Dogpatch is that they just were successful.
Yeah, Forget About It was very successful for their debut year. Jerry Rig the Protogen says, at Forget About It, at PS Furmeets, SOS, can we trade out our GSFTW passes? Not going to lie, for a first con, this is heartbreaking. Forget About It replies and says, come to Reg with your badge tomorrow and we will discount your Fur Reg registration cost by 30%. So if you show them the
That's wild.
or if you this con's over, but if you showed them the GSFF the Garden State one, if you
Garden
showed
State
them that
con,
one,
yeah, just
yeah, if you showed them that one, then you got a 30% off discount to go to Forget About It.
that's wild. So I'm gonna read this really quick. Forget About It 2025 controlled burn. Raised over $8,000 for the Cedar Run Wildlife Refuge with over 638 attendees. A weekend spent in celebration of community, and they are excited for the future.
Yes. Our very own Carnelian Fox was actually at that con.
Nice.
So
No ice.
yeah.
No ice because it's controlled
No
burn.
ice, yeah. But yeah, so this entire con is going on. There's hardly anything to do, which is being reflected in the group chats, being said by the fandom's pop star herself. She is there.
Oh, please, Link. Please
Dude,
show
yeah.
me. Fuck.
Yeah, no,
She-
it's there, and it's wild that they decided to defend
Here,
it as much as possible.
Let me
Oh
see if I
wait,
can
so
find it.
this isn't this con's first year. They had a 2024 version.
Oh, they did? Oh.
I'm seeing that because it says it's GSFTW. So Garden State for the win, but not really.
I think it's for the weekend.
It's for the weekend, but you can use the for the win acronym too, right? They ran almost 1,000 attendees in 2024 and only had a roughly 350 this year.
They lost 700 attendees. Okay, I found it.
They have a third of the attendance this year, and it sounds like it's the free for all trajectory which is being pushed.
Yeah. So
That does make sense. I want to look up because Garden State definitely didn't block me.
editing
funny if it did,
Misha, pop sound. There's Cassidy in the group chat.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
I'm reading this. I mean, reading the actual image is them basically saying that forget about it, and I guess another con, or, I don't know, was siphoning off of. They're trying to say they were siphoning off of Garden State, and it's like,
Fuck, I lost my
Dude.
phone, and now I can't find it, and I wanted to read it.
No, Garden. I sent it to the Discord, so if you have Discord open, you can just pull it up on your computer. But
I had Telegram open on my thing, but now all I'm gonna be thinking about for the next fucking hour is
but no, so Cassidy's in a bunch of group chats that she really doesn't need to be a part of because she's probably not going to go to all the cons that she's group chats
sticking
of.
her nose into something that she doesn't need to.
Oh my god,
That's
can
not-
you imagine the fandom's pop star sticking her nose where it doesn't belong? Holy bingle. Anyway, the reason I think that she's actually there is because she's saying the con is in dire need of attendees, or the con is in need of attendees right now. All the competition this weekend is hurting their numbers, which makes it sound like she's actually there. It's entirely possible she's not. And, you know, if she's not, cool. Don't care.
Homie's trying to get another fucking guest of honor appearance.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, no. It says, why did they decide to have the same dates as the other furry convention? And Cassidy says they didn't. They were first. Both rivals sprung up specifically to siphon off attendees from Garden State for the weekend. Which, you know, maybe. But also, if your con fucking sucks, people are going to want to go somewhere else. And if you start appealing to alt-right furries, your con fucking sucks and people are going to want to go elsewhere. What?
Also, it's incredibly horrible business as quote-unquote the second con to try and do something like that. It almost never works unless there's trouble in paradise, because it's well known. People are going to understand, especially if you come at it that way. Like, instead of going to GSFTW, go to our con, which is definitely better in our first year. Like, no, that doesn't work. It harms everybody because people are going to be split or undecided. It's it's just most likely just planning. Being a part of, which I really shouldn't say I am. I haven't talked in the chat in forever. Being a part of a group that was trying to run a con in Colorado, and they're still doing work on it.
They sure are.
There were other cons trying to also become their first years that happen to put very similar weekends and times down, or like within a week of each other, and it can feel threatening because you're like, oh god, oh, their cons on the same weekend, or even the next weekend, which not everybody can get back-to-back weekends off, you know what I mean? So they're gonna choose one or the other. It just doesn't work if that was the sole intent. If your marketing is, oh, we're gonna pick the same con weekend as another con in the same area, doesn't work.
Yeah.
Not good for either. So no, it's so disingenuous to throw that out there.
Yeah. So back to Nick. They did their performance because they were guest of honor. I guess they're a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I don't know nor do I care about this person.
Isn't Nick low-key like the green like wolf art person that people stole all the time?
Yes.
Like new furries, it was one of it's like the blue dog and the green DJ fucking profile picture that you would see.
Neon green headphones, winking at the camera. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And so they made a post on May 2nd during the con. They said, yo, thank you for so much for rocking out with me at my live concert and they tagged the con. Such an amazing time. And everybody in the comments is like, hey, you performed for Nazis. Like, you did this for,
Right.
Which I want to clarify.
We don't know that for sure.
Leeway for the people that went, because this was kind of a rug pull on them that they're just like, hey, we're going to appeal to alt-right furries, by the way. So in no way am I blaming any of the attendees. In no way am I blaming, honestly, any of the vendors that ended up there, too, because Twisted Tales or whatever was there as well. And they had to make a post like, hey, we didn't know. So I'm not blaming any vendors, and I'm not blaming any attendees for going to this con. If they go next year, then, well, maybe it's a little bit of muddy water. But, like, Nick has already associated with the Raiders. And so, one of the things I left out is actually, like, some of the management of GSFTW has ties to Raiders. And that's why they're starting to get unbanned and starting to get included in the groups, is because it's like, oh, well, they're not that bad. We shouldn't bring politics into furry. Da-da-da, the stuff that we talked about 2 weeks ago. And so this person in the group says... What?
That's just like, oh, it's Rocky Mountain FurCon all over again.
Exactly, yeah.
Like.
That's what this is sounding like.
Rocky Mountain actually had some solid attendance.
Yeah, rest in peace, Rocky Mountain FurCon.
So this person, Douglas, says, you performed for Nazis. I hope it was worth it because we'll remember this. Sotalk said, yep, and I was a top tier supporter on Nick's Kickstarter that he never delivered on too. Never again. Dogpatch replies and says, I love dancing for a Nick show way back in Anthrocon in 2015 or so. After he went on the Raiders podcast, I forgave it and hosted a guest article about him. Supporting this undid the sorries he did and was a huge mistake. And that's kind of where I was willing to give Nick the benefit of the doubt, where it's like, maybe he didn't know. But he keeps chatting with the con and ignored every single comment in the replies, has not acknowledged any of it whatsoever, and keeps posting little snappy little TikToks of ooh woo, look how cute I am, without acknowledging any of this. So I'm losing the benefit of the doubt on him. But yeah, like Solace said, they lost, like, what was it, 700 attendees, or like over 600 compared to last year.
950, a little over 950 down to 350. So it's a 700 or it's a 600 drop. It's a third of what it was.
Yeah, which
that's
part of it
massive. Part
of it can honestly be attributed to, I guess, 2 other cons. I only know of Forget About It, but part of it could be attributed to that.
Fandom's Pop Star was talking about a second con. I don't know anything about that for sure.
The second con has hit the weekend, but like the fucking editing Misha cut that. You know what? Leave it in. It's fine. The
editing Misha.
Nah, we need another 3-hour video drop on us.
Oh fuck yeah! I think it was 4 hours, wasn't it? I don't know. I didn't watch it. I didn't listen to any of it. I don't care.
I'm just aware of it.
I'm also aware of it. Dude, I saw that. That video got recommended to me when I was high. The first one she made. And I was like, what? I made the mistake of making a Blue Sky post about it.
The Misha expression that I just saw in my head.
Dude, it took like a solid 10 seconds for me to realize that it was like actually reality. Because I saw myself in the thumbnail, and I was like, wait, this isn't my video. Because I'm always in the corner of my videos. And then it was like, I saw who posted it, and I was like, no fucking way, dude. I posted it to the Discord, and we were all laughing about it.
Did she make a video of you or something? Like,
Yeah,
what
she made a video about me.
Oh.
Yo.
You guys are in it too.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
because she took footage from the podcast.
Dude, when I messaged you, I didn't know who you were. This was your opportunity. Well, I think I said it in the podcast,
Oh,
too.
yeah, you've said it multiple
times. This was your
times.
fucking opportunity to be like, oh, I'm a furry musician. You introduced yourself to me as, like, drama.
She unironically was like, I'm that bitch. Like, I'm the one that everyone complains about.
Okay.
Damn, maybe there's a reason.
Oh, like, part of you can own it. You know, if you can own it, but you can't be mad that people are calling you that bitch when you're calling yourself that bitch.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the big spiel about Garden State for the weekend. People are comparing it to Free For All in the sense that, like, it's now a con that is appealing to alt-right and furry raiders, and the fact that, like, their attendance numbers just plummeted from year 1 to year 2. Obviously, the difference is Free For All was created solely as an apolitical convention for true Americans, and Garden State is, like, slowly starting to turn into that. Well, slowly is a strong word, but, like, it's starting to turn into that. So I'm curious to see what happens in the future. Long story short, maybe some shitty people are banned for a reason, and maybe inviting them back into spaces where marginalized people are is not necessarily a good idea. You know?
It wasn't the take you thought it was.
No, it really wasn't.
Call back to a little bit. I don't remember. It wasn't the last episode. I think it was the one before it. I don't remember. The don't invite Nazis to the bar.
Exactly.
Analogy.
Yeah.
It's literally this, but for cons, you just can't do it. And to see like I'm actually I'm like looking into this shit, and like to see that people straight up got rug pulled, like Garden State for the weekend, the original first one had almost 1,000 attendees. That's solid.
That's a good.
This is first year for a con, and again, the bar just keeps getting raised when a new con comes out because everybody's just ready to fucking go.
Yeah.
You're not seeing 200 to 300 anymore. You're seeing 1,000. Even fucking Forget About It had almost 700.
Forget about it. Yeah.
That's still very
That's
solid.
That's a cute name.
That's a solid name.
To put that into perspective, like to have all that and then to have them suddenly turn around and start associating, or it's more about they didn't directly associate with. Obviously, it was the whole concept of like sneakily being like, yeah, we're not gonna ban raiders. Where do you think the raiders are gonna go now?
Yeah.
This is why it's so incredibly important for cons to make those statements. Certain con that we talked about earlier.
I was actually
you
watching a video about this, like a political video and stuff, where people were complaining. The video started because it was somebody talking about how right wingers were complaining about the green M&M.
Oh my god!
Oh, good old Carlson bit I miss. Rest Carlson.
Yeah, but like a lot of people like that was the starting point, but the thesis statement basically was the reason companies change their logo during Pride is because right now wokeness sells.
Yeah.
Like, make no mistake, they will only do what the money tells them to do. And right now, you are like, even the most conservative kids in school are gonna be like, well, yeah, but gay people are fine, and their parents are like, well, we'll just, we'll grift them into it later, right? But like, it's not a big statement to say no Nazis. That's where your majority is.
Yeah.
Sex doesn't sell anymore, ironically. It used to in the 90s while we were all being experimental, but nowadays it doesn't. Nowadays what sells is fucking the vast majority of people kind of want to be good people. And if you say, oh, if you shop this way, you're more green, people will fucking shop there. People want to feel like good people, and you don't feel like a good person by supporting the Nazi con.
Yeah, no.
It's not that hard. It's not even a good business move. There's literally no reason to do it.
It was just because one of the higher ups was friends with a few of them and was like, "Oh, it's fine. We can let
Yeah,
him
that's
back in."
really all it is. It's only
can-
really. Go ahead.
I can put this into context too, because one of the biggest things that we've covered throughout the years here, because we can say that about Bark Me Out.
God, years
for the
plural.
years, plural.
Okay.
Is that
Who'da
there was a
thought?
while where we've reported on like the whole Target thing where they got like right wing people were going to Targets and fucking with shit because they had like LGBTQ plus and like gay pride stuff and like they were trying to say it was like in the children's clothing and they were calling it indoctrination and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's probably
So,
gonna
like-
happen this Pride too.
Well. So here's the thing: Target's on the shit list for LGBTQ plus because in January they removed their DEI program,
Dude, the first
which
chance
was met
they
with
got,
a lot of backlash.
the first chance
And
they
then-
got, they were
sorry,
like,
go ahead.
"Let's get rid of that."
So they removed their DEI program at the beginning of January. I think
Oh, for the
to
sake
kind
of
of
the
align
cat.
themselves with the
What's
certain
program?
the diversity, inclusion, or
Diversity, equity, and
what's it?
inclusion.
Inclusion.
Yeah.
Which people just basically it's to make sure that you can't discriminate against marginalized groups, meaning your sexual orientations, ethnicity, stuff like that, gender, any of it. Like you're just not supposed to be able to do that. DEI programs were put in place to help people from being just like, the son's or the boss's son, or like a certain manager or hiring manager doesn't like a certain group of people, so they don't hire them as much.
Yeah.
You're supposed to prevent that from happening.
Yeah.
And to put punishments in for that if found out. It's obviously became like a new like whistle for the right to be like it's basically just racism and bigotry when they call you a DEI hire. So Target removed that program in accordance to
Yeesh.
the certain administration, where bigger companies have pushed back against that because fuck the current administration. And then it was like I think it was like very recently in the last month they did something else. It was something to do with it came out that they put like tens of millions of dollars into Trump's campaign or something like that and some other shit. And literally from the election last year around November 18th their stock was kicking around $160 per share. They're kicking around $94. So ever since the election, Target has not been doing well. And I think it's a direct correlation to them starting to make accommodations for, what do we call them? Nazis.
Yeah, right.
I can't say that for sure, but
I'll bleep it out.
when you start rolling back against the quote-unquote woke, like, it's just people being people, man. And when you start rolling that back and people are a lot less secure about themselves, yeah, they're not going to support you. So
Yeah. I just love last thing, and then we got to move on to the second topic. I just love the argument of, oh, I'm so tired of gay people shoving their lives down our throats. I just had 2 people come up to my door the other week and try to preach to me about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So I don't have people coming to my door asking if I blow dicks. So like, that's only one of those groups.
Misha, we know what we have to do.
Do you suck cock?
Can I explain to you why you should?
Can I? Yeah, I'll whip it out.
Let me explain to you why being gay is more fun. Like,
I mean, listen, it is. It's a lot more fun.
it is. I actually
is.
just saw a TikTok that was like, man, being gay is wild. Because I asked my friend if you could hang out next Wednesday because it's so sunny out, and he's like, let me check. I haven't RSVP to that orgy. First of all, you RSVP. Second, good for you, girl.
RSVP to the orgy is crazy.
Dude, I've RSVP'd to every orgy that I've ever considered attending. Every
Considered
orgy I've
attending,
considered
of
attending.
course.
Not only was there a Telegram group chat, not only was it so organized, there was a dress code, there were times, there were
say,
forms, there were
Had to bring your
medical
papers.
forms.
I was
You
gonna
have to
say
bring your
the
papers to the
no.
orgy.
Unironically, the medical forms are pretty important. Make sure everybody's clean. Like,
Yes.
Right, no, unironically,
Yeah.
it was the very first like orgy I was ever gonna be involved in. This did not happen. But it didn't happen
Patreon.
because one dude didn't bring his fucking papers.
Why didn't they just like not have that dude involved? Make him watch.
Like the whole vibe was off. We didn't
Oh.
want him involved in the first place, and then he
Oh.
got involved, and then the group, and then it was like, you know what? Let's just not. Oh, okay,
Oh.
we're all same page. Let's just not. Okay, cool.
Damn. Bro, imagine being that guy. You alone ruined the vibe of an orgy in the furry
It's not the first-
community.
In the furry, like, it's fine.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Look what a guy did to a pizza.
Okay, well,
Wow.
that was
Hey.
Again, being gay is wild. That's even a joke
Yeah.
that we all understood.
right?
I feel like how people feel when they see the lines and they're like, God damn it, I get this joke. Like, I'm
Oh.
ancient.
Yeah, right. God.
The funny thing is, the pizza is now at that level or at that distance now to where it's almost like a if you know, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's there are furries joining the fandom that won't ever know about the pizza.
Yeah.
God, I hope so. That's like people are like, who is Carpet Sample? And it's like nature is healing.
Thank
I
God.
have people
I'm not
from
gonna
my
tell them.
audience.
I'm not gonna tell them.
I'm not gonna either. I will just reply, you don't want to know.
Nobody fucking comment below.
Yeah.
The only way you can is you can link back to one of our other episodes talking about it, because we have talked about it. But besides that, just let it die.
Dude,
Nature's healing, like Misha said.
I made a joke while streaming about okay, I was playing Repo with friends, and I made a joke about
One of you call me. I still can't find my phone, and it's starting to piss me off.
I don't have your number.
I'll call you.
I made a joke about a My Little Pony figurine in a jar. And I'm sure you both know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm injured that I know. Yes.
Yeah. And so somebody in my chat was like, "What do you mean by that?" And I was like, "Oh boy. Oh no." I felt like, dude, I felt Solace the Protogen. I felt on the spot, dude. I was like, I don't want to explain it. And they're like, "No, seriously, I don't know what you mean." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. I don't want to explain it."
Ruby, find your fucking phone.
I can't find it.
I'm calling you. It's ringing.
The phone
hear
is
ringing on your end.
ringing.
I thought that was funny though.
We did hear it on your end.
No
Ew,
dogs, no dogs.
All
That's
right, well,
because your
whatever.
fucking business line.
I'll look for it later. Continue.
Anyway, we got to move on to the second topic of the
Well,
day.
wait.
What?
Did we want to have any final comments of GSFTW?
Nazis are
Oh, that's
bad.
just-
Get fucked, you
That's
stupid
just
con.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's so.
What do
funny.
you think? Do you think they learned from this, or do you think the higher ups are too ingrained with their Nazi friends that there's no way they're going to turn this around?
I think they double down.
I also agree with Ruby. However, I think it's one or two of them. So if they can get rid of that one or two people, they have a shot. But
You know what I think, though?
also
I
think
they
they're going to double down.
Yeah, I think they double down specifically because, and this is actually a problem with I think the community in that regard. Once you're on the bad side, furries do kind of have a hard time forgiving you.
I get that
because it's hard for us to even get to the point that we dislike you. So if you turn around and suddenly your whole vibe has changed, we're still gonna be like, I'm gonna need to see some proof, Jan. But the Nazi furries will use that, and they'll be like, "Well, you can just appeal to this market. We will accept you. All of our friends will come, and that's why you'll double down."
God, that's gonna be free for all number 2.
Yeah.
Watch just Zone Effects.
Oh boy,
guest star next year.
Dude,
God,
imagine.
I haven't heard about them bitches in a while. That'd be interesting to catch up on.
I try to forget about them bitches. I'll see the meme with the cookies, and I'll just lose my shit every single time.
Well, see, here's the thing.
Oh my god,
Misha.
yeah.
So, Misha, here's the thing. I remember Jason Effects. I can't remember his partner or the other bitch's name right now. That's how far it's removed from my mind.
And Peace.
Peace Wolf.
Oh,
yeah.
Peace. Jesus.
And
that just... I don't know if it's just because it's Blue Sky or what. And maybe they don't really interact on Blue Sky, but it's wild.
No,
I just don't see shit from that. God damn.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that was so far out of my mind. I forgot names.
Here's how you can tell if somebody is worth your time. If they only post on Twitter and not Blue Sky, bro, don't hang out with them.
Yeah,
I have
that's
met a
red
few
flag.
people that still kind of only post on Twitter because they're like, I just don't have the
Ruby,
mental energy.
Red flag.
Do
Red
they
flag.
post on Instagram
No,
too, though? At least.
No, they're like,
Oh.
I can't start another social media.
They're just
Do
not
they-
social media.
Do they have Twitter Blue?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
If they only had Twitter Blue, that's a major red.
That's a huge yeah. Right now,
If you're
Ruby,
paying for
you're
that
looking
shit.
at like a light pink flag. If they only had Twitter Blue, that would be a red flag.
I get it because their audience is on Twitter and they're like, I'm
it's
not
just
gonna
bots
make
and bullshit.
media. Yeah, but they
Um,
don't even read it. They just post and then
I
they
know.
get off it. Like they don't scroll Twitter.
I
They're not
do
that tight.
understand the like artists logging on, posting, and then instantly logging off, but also don't do that. You know.
I was
I
say
agree.
I do and I don't because they found that like when it comes to meaningful engagement, Blue Sky has as much if not better because most of
yeah.
your engagement and numbers come from bots and bullshit on Twitter. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they
You-
just don't wanna. They like I get it. I haven't posted on any platform in a while. I've just been fucking busy.
Yeah.
oh god.
Anyway, second topic.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I would just want to say I don't. The way I see this, I know their PR guy was one of the problems, but if the head of that con, didn't just see all that shit go down and stop it and put his foot down, I see this con failing.
I also. Yeah.
Where was
like-
the head at?
Yeah.
Where's your direction? Where's your
Where's
leadership?
the head at? Is a crazy.
Who doesn't
statement.
shut that down? Because that is your arm is going wild. You have to cut that arm off.
The fish rots from the head, though.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is it
Um,
wasn't stopped, which means I think there's way more deeper ingrained troubles in paradise here.
That's
Yep.
the thing is like I gave a way that they could potentially redeem themselves. I don't think they're gonna do it. I'm in agreement with
Yeah.
you guys that they're gonna double down.
I can't
Um,
wait to chat. Please remind us to review this next year. See what happens. See,
Oh my
see if
God.
our predictions are correct.
Chat, check
if
out my
they aren't,
video.
I mean, let's just be real. I don't know what their financial situation is, but that low amount of attendees and a
Oh.
regression at that point, I don't know, like if they can even do another con.
I didn't even think
We'll
about
have to
that.
see.
Yeah, you lose.
That's a massive reduction.
Yeah,
The thing is, like, that's why they will double down because they're guaranteed attendance by the
Well, I mean, you
bad
have to have
people.
Well, maybe because you have to think. So it's all about projections and futures, right? So if your con had almost 1,000 attendees going in your first year, your next year you're hoping to double that, or at least add a 500, make it 1,500 that next year. You know that's good. You're wanting that to help with growth, right? To see that reduced by 2/3 down to 360, you know you're out fucking money. So it just depends on who's they're backing. Now you're right. Their reason why they could double down is because they could try and get what was FFA's whole thing was get alt-right backing and see if that funds them for another year. But we all know how FFA went. So
Yep.
yeah.
maybe it gets them
Why-
a third year, but then it's probably over. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's your
Why is my Twitch reconnected to my chat 3 times? What?
Bruh.
What's happening?
And I just saw
I
that.
haven't lost connection with you guys at all. I've heard everything. I'm
I
wearing
think
a wire,
what it
but like,
is that widget on OBS is connected to your Twitch chat, right?
yeah.
You know what I've lost? My fucking phone.
I've
Wait.
tried to answer.
I know.
Bruh. But Misha, so I think it's literally the service is connecting to the chat and it's just having little connection issues. So it
Oh my
reconnects.
god, Twitch, get your shit together at Twitch.
Or it could be your internet. Who knows? It could
My
be your
internet's
ISP.
fine, thank you. Uh-oh, my thing's refreshing. It might actually be my internet.
Sounds real fine. Sounds
But
real fine.
Your voice sounds great at least. And I just
Thanks.
confirmed on Twitch that you're not streaming. So just to
Your
give you
voice
that.
does sound great, Misha. Just in general.
Thanks. We watched like one of my older videos on my stream Friday night, and dude, I sound completely different. It's
Yes.
wild. Like, I was like, "Heyo, everyone, Misha B. Barkin here," and it's like, "Oh, my
yeah,
god."
You really ham it up now, but not in like a bad way, in a good way.
Yeah. It was like the
Mhm.
the trying to like whisper in the room, even though I wasn't gonna be in trouble for making videos. I don't know. Anyway, we gotta move on to the third.
I mean, you're in a little bit of trouble, but
Fair.
anyway.
Anyway, we gotta move on to the second topic. I'm sure the group doesn't need any introduction. You guys know what Bad Dragon is.
Woof.
I assume everyone listening knows what Bad Dragon is. And if you don't, they're an adult company.
You are
for
not old
furries.
enough to be watching this podcast.
Yeah, if you don't know what it is, turn in for the night. Go to bed.
Wait,
You've probably got
If-
homework you have to do, like study
if
for that
you-
algebra test.
If you A, don't know what Bad Dragon is, B, are of age, C, you're probably not a furry, but now you are.
You are
'Cause
now.
you are a normie that found this podcast and you've made it this far. Nah, you a furry. You just
I
gotta.
was
admit
gonna
to it.
say, honestly, if you're a non-furry and listening to this, one, yes, you are, and two, props for being here. What's up? Anyway,
Oh yeah, I would love if non-furries listen to us. I have quite a few like following my art and stuff. I've even had people comment when I go on a few like long threads about topics of the fandom, which kind of started this podcast. Like I've had those people comment, they're like, "I'm not a furry, but this is an interesting take," and I'm like, "Well, thanks for being here."
yeah, I've gotten a couple of comments like that.
There.
Well, hey there, hey
Yeah.
darling.
There.
I've gotten a couple of comments on like my free for all videos and stuff where people are like, I'm not even a furry, but like this was interesting. Or like when I talked about the history of burn furs and all that. Anyway, a Bad Dragon is a company that sells things that go in, you know, they go in places.
Humans
so-
have 7 holes. Bad Dragon toys go in all of them.
Well, I can think of 4 of them I would rather them not be in, but anyway. So this company has been around for a while. They are, I think, inarguably one of the biggest furry companies to exist, to the point where like they operate out of warehouses and shit, man. They're huge. And so they have come under fire recently, and I will post the stuff for you guys to read. They made a post that said, "Happy Friday Eve, my lovelies. Janine here. I have some exciting new swag for you to slip into and later slip out of, winky face. Tune in on Friday, May 2nd at 8 a.m. AZMST for these undies.
Arizona.
Hashtag Bad Dragon." Yeah, Arizona Mystical Space Typhoon. Editing Misha, put that card on the screen. There's a card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Called Mystical Space Typhoon.
I do remember it. Joey likes it.
Yeah.
Joey likes it. Well, the lore
Joey,
that we
the
just dropped.
lore.
But yeah, Arizona time, because Arizona doesn't do daylight savings time, so it's either on MST or it's on PST, depending.
Yeah. So they posted this with a picture of these undies, which I feel like I can show. They don't show anything. And they're underwear. That's the big bulk
Cute.
of it. There is another furry group, not really a group. There's another furry company a lot smaller than Bad Dragon known as Tail End Studios. I have a couple of pairs of underwear from them, super comfy. And they made a quote post and said, "Hey Janine, I don't know. It really sucks to see you do this after you had reached out to my business about producing other apparel for you, and we agreed it wasn't cost effective for Bad Dragon. I didn't think you'd rip me off after. This sucks, y'all." So, Tail End Studios, which, as someone who owns...
Where's the receipts?
I own a couple of pairs. I own the Fox undies, which I guess Editing Misha put on the screen, not of me wearing them, obviously, but like put a picture of the like
Editing
what they
Misha,
show
you
on
put
the-
them on
No,
with it.
no.
Wearing them.
no, absolutely
Over
not.
the fursuit if you have you got.
Well, I am wearing the fursuit, but no,
For the
don't
Patreon.
put the
Patreon.
For the Patreon! For the
I don't
do
know.
it!
That might be too much.
For the Afterburk OnlyFans. What?
Guys, I'm a guy, there's bulge. I can't do that. I can't post that.
Just stuff a couple extra socks in there so that
Yeah,
people
yeah.
really
Why
guess
would I
it.
add more bulge?
To keep them
Well,
guessing,
there's a lot of
Misha.
reasons to add more bulge, Misha.
Not for the not for the podcast. But no, so
Tina.
these look pretty directly inspired by Tail End Studios.
All right, I'll be the judge of that.
Because I need pictures of that.
I sent them in the Discord.
See.
Oh, I didn't send the pictures of Tail Ends.
No,
Hold
you
on.
did. I was gonna say I need tail. I need tail ends, man.
Okay, you guys unironically need pictures of me in the understood. Heard, chef. let me scroll down. Let me send
Barkin for it.
ass
Bark.
pics to my coworkers real quick.
We have an interesting relationship as coworkers.
Damn.
We do.
Yeah, let's side by side tail and
Bark meow threesome.
Bad
What?
Dragon.
We all have to shower together eating lasagna. I'm going to AC.
You are.
Ruby said they might go to AC.
I got to work on this dog's separation anxiety. I think next weekend. I gotta see if I have to. Well, I just worked up.
Yeah, this is very recent.
Yeah,
3 days.
like
3 days as a.
Did
now.
I
probably have an update during Afterbark. Okay.
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, unless a lawsuit. I mean, if you're Bad Dragon, I mean, to an extent, do you even respond? This is one of those things where it's like you would like them to, but you know they're gonna do just fine on sales if they don't say shit.
Yeah, there is more to this story.
Did they been made aware of recent false and defamatory accusations?
Hold on, I'm getting
Never mind.
there. I'm getting there.
They responded.
You son of a bitch, I'm getting there.
Somebody sent me the message. It was
There's
Ruby.
something very important about that response.
I'm saving stuff.
There's something very important about that response.
I mean, to be fair, these all do 1,000% look like exactly what Bad Dragon's putting out. But it's one of those things where, is that protected idea or is that copyright infringement, right?
No, it's definitely
Holy
not
shit, dude.
They got clapped by the fucking
Bad Dragon.
Ooh.
Bad Dragon did make a response that says, "We have been made aware of recent false and defamatory accusations regarding our designs being copied. We want to assure you that Bad Dragon's designs are original, and we do not use any protected or proprietary elements of others. We take those accusations seriously, and our legal team is reviewing them. We're hopeful that this misinformation campaign will be clarified very soon." There's something very important about this reply. This was posted only on Twitter. They did not post that on Blue Sky, which is where a bunch of people... I don't know how the response has been on Twitter, but a bunch of people were very angry on Blue Sky. Responding to them and quote tweeting them, quote posting them, and... you know, in their replies saying, "Hey, this sucks. I was there." Well, Rascal was there, but like, and I don't know how the response has been on Twitter. But like, the fact that they didn't post that on Blue Sky is kind of telling to me.
83 comments and 572 likes. So I'm going to say it's been decently received, because if it was the opposite and it was not well received, you would see a much higher comment to like ratio.
Yeah. Like,
Look at what I just
personally,
Great.
and also personally, what I believe is it's echo chamber. You don't want to say shit to Blue Sky because you don't want to get the clap back. So you're going to send it to Twitter with your little blue check mark, which I get it. Your business wants it. And Elon Musk almost demands it as a business that you need a blue check mark if you're going to make Twitter effective. It still goes to AI slop and bots, but
yeah.
Oh, wait, is it the last thing?
As far as I know, this is as far as we've gone.
Said, I have news for you about these undies. That's theirs.
That's Tailend Studios. You know, this is
like
arguably their design.
Fucking wild that person just got fucking shut down because that Flex IRL post is straight up theirs.
Because like,
oh wow.
Wait, hold on. Wait, the Flex IRL post is theirs?
Well, look, yeah. So the image that says the Flex _IRL, that person, Eden at the is stating, "Oh, look, there's been furry underwear around for years."
Yeah,
that's Tailend Studios' underwear, though. They're trying to make an example using their own product.
Yeah,
it goes to show that he may have been the first to do it, and I do think there is
parodies.
There's absolutely
make like products. The furry fandom isn't the only fandom that does that. You know, like if it just happens, right? But it is very, very shady that there were business talks between Tailends and Bad Dragon, and then after that, Bad Dragon makes that, right?
There were business talks, and afterwards they made the underwear. And now the art style is also just very similar.
Yes.
Is the big thing. The tails are like bent basically the exact same way. The only thing that's different is the waistband thing, which honestly looks kind of bad on the Bad Dragon one. Because like if I'm wearing fox underwear, I want it to look like I'm a fox, you know? Like,
you want it to look seamless.
Yeah. Why would I want a bright pink Bad Dragon band on it?
Because our marketing sucks.
Because
Dude, we've already hit.
Here's the thing about Bad Dragon, though, is so many times. This is not the first time they've been accused of this.
No.
That's true.
And the other part of it is, too, unfortunately, is, like, legally, there is no issue. Like, you can copy it. Like, how many ways can you draw a tail on an ass?
Yeah, I don't know this answer because there are certain design elements that could be, if it's close enough, a copyright fucking court could actually, I could see there being a case here. I don't know copyright law enough, and I'm not a lawyer to make that comment.
It depends.
I don't think.
what
I just don't think Taylor's gonna have the money to do it.
I think your biggest one is you would go that you're going for the same market because obviously Tails End also appeals to.
It's a niche, yes. So that is helping their case. I think it's one thing if Walmart and Target sells all these things to a massive, broad audience. It's another thing to say, look, there's only a handful of these kinds of merch companies out here. We did it first, and after a business call with these people, they came out with the same idea.
Yeah, and also
call is huge. But hear me out. Legally, I don't even care what legally would or would not stand.
Mhm.
We're in a community that's fandom run and frankly fandom policed, and like you just don't. We shouldn't want to step on each other's toes. We should we should work together, not as competitors.
And also, the toes being stepped on by one of the biggest companies in the community, which makes adult toys. They don't even make underwear. They, like, specifically went out of their way to do this.
Well, it looks like they maybe that was the whole concept or conversation with Tail Ends, is that they wanted to get into alternative merch from adult toys.
Yeah. And when they said, hey,
I mean, they've been wanting to forever, and it's been not so successful, kind of because of this, because they keep trying to work with artists, and it keeps not quite working out for them.
Yeah, so it's...
I'm opening up a private tab so I can look up Bad Dragon, because I don't want that in my search history.
Put it in your search history, be a man.
Yo, fucking called out by... Okay, Misha be Barkin. Fucking post the undies photo.
Jesus. What? Oh.
Be a man.
I'm not... That's different.
Yeah, okay,
well,
yeah.
I was wondering about this. So, they've made merch before. Granted, I'm seeing esports wolf jersey. It looks like they tried to do esports jerseys.
That's kind of
No,
crazy.
they didn't. Here's what happened. I remember this.
Well, I mean, it's on their website. That's why I'm wondering.
No, hear me out. Here's what happened.
Okay.
So this was during FC. This was an adventure crew project. You can even look this up. There might be posts about it. And you know how the volleyball tournament is during FC every year?
I don't, but sure.
Okay, at FC, for some reason, there's a volleyball tournament, like high schoolers, during FC every single year. And they manage. FC does a great job, like the hotel does. They manage to make there's enough separation. Like there's the volleyball side, but the volleyballers always come over and like try and take pictures with the furries. Why wouldn't you? But long story short, Adventure Crew thought it'd be funny if we had teams one year and people were running around with the like jerseys. So they made fake jerseys of like things in the fandom. Like I think there was like the Otters, and one of them was like the Bad Dragon Raiders or something. And it was a joke post. It was funny.
Yeah.
Bad Dragon, like. And we should look it up because I don't want to misquote anything. But I remember there was a whole stink where Bad Dragon said you can't do that, and they were like, okay. And then immediately Bad Dragon started to sell like volleyball jerseys, and Adventure Crew was like, dude, what the fuck? One, we were just trying to do this for fun, and two, you told us we couldn't do it only so like you could try and profit off of this funny little like game we were playing.
Dude, that's
it was a whole thing, and then time goes on and people forget about it, but Bad Dragon kind of does have a little bit of a history with doing this. And why? Because they're a business first and foremost. That's kind of what happens when you are a business. And I've had this, like, something similar happen to me before. I was working with a business, and I won't name names because it's old news, but I had masks that I was designing, and they were printing them, and they said, cool, like, they took one of my designs and recolored it a bunch of times, and I was like, hey, you can't do that. I only gave you the one design, and you paid for 4 designs, so you can't take one design and like color it a bunch of times and then sell it 600 times. I'll give you the design in different colors, but you have to pay me for that. They didn't. There was a whole stink. And then I was like, okay, cool. I don't want to work with you anymore. They're like, okay, cool. They owed me a bunch of money. Long story short. But then they came out with their own version like a month later. And I was like, dude, you just had another artist redraw my design.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything because it just wasn't worth it. And I also just didn't think they'd succeed. And they didn't. So it's fine. But like, I don't know. It's weird in the fandom when we don't work together when we should, I guess. What was I looking for?
I guess here's the conversation, because we had this conversation earlier last year about what was the brands that said they copied each other.
God,
Misha,
have we talked about
you know
this?
what I'm talking about? No, it
No.
wasn't this. But there was a different group. Somebody said they
pulling up the
stole merch. You know what I mean?
I'm pulling
And
up
they
the
got
archives.
into DMs about stuff. Remember? So my concept here is Bad Dragon releases that product, right? But then they came out, obviously tail ends is like, what the fuck? Is this something that they should have had a DM conversation about? Is this... I don't know what the right course of action here. I do think...
I want to see the conversation. Good job.
You're
I want to
right.
see the conversation between Tail's End
Well, finally.
and Bad Dragon.
Also...
I do think that should be... I don't know if that should be... I don't know, because, like, on one hand, that should be made public to validate the concerns and, like, the criticism.
No, I'm not saying it should be public. I'm saying I am personally nosy and I personally want to know.
I want to see it. Me. No one else gets
I
to,
am not saying that they should post it, like, for PR reasons. I don't know if that's the right course of action. I want them to DM me personally and show me them, and I will tell them if they should post it or not. Wait, I'm trying to find the Adventure Crew Bad Dragon volleyball jersey thing.
A certain presidential candidate received a piece. Is that when Trump got shot? Is that how I describe that? A certain presidential candidate received a piercing? What the fuck is wrong with me? That's crazy. I'm looking back through our old episodes to see if I can figure out what we talked about. That's so fucking wild. That's an insane way to word that.
I'm trying to confirm something right now. And I'm seeing the Garden State fur stuff about... It was in December when they were trying to knock down the hate allegations.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we got to wrap up the episode. So we have an upgrade. Everyone hand on hearts. Go ahead and salute real quick. Our former president, George W. Bush, love him or hate him, he is now an executive producer of the show.
I stand for the flag.
We are now...
It's the trans flag.
We are now...
It's just the trans flag.
We are now biased media, unfortunately. We are now influenced by the former president. The former...
Oh, yeah. Can we even accept, like, government money like that?
I will.
Well, like, former president.
Money,
yeah, totally, yeah.
Personal money anyways, yeah.
Anyway, the other Patreon, as I scroll down this lovely list of people... Thank you so much to George W. Bush, Alistair the Hyena, Penstamon, Thawcade, Quaddle, Bogey Bravo, Blue Pack Wolf, Argo, Mighty Half Man, Ambirion, Zombie Brains, Loriafia, Landon Yeen, Sycamore, Bowie Barks, Heartless Hero, Pip the Badger, Rays. I should do it like differently one of these times. The Pip the Badger thing. He's noticed. He knows I do it like that. Anyway, Rays, Theo Firefox, Coraline R, Kai Quint, Carnelian Fox, and Steam Pony, and Ankara. Thank you so much for your undying, continued love and support and loyalty, no matter what we do or what we say. For years. Some of them unironically.
Speaking of that shit, the fucking come up is coming soon. It's May, so it's like a month away.
From us starting this, I think we started it.
Yeah.
I think we started it June.
That's why I think it was June. We're like a month away.
Something like that, yeah.
That's crazy.
My dog's giving me a look. I do think he needs to go outside.
Yeah, we gotta wrap up. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. Or this episode, not a video. I'm still in YouTuber mode. But yeah. Hope you enjoyed.
Wow.
Let us know. Wow. I'm
wow.
based in content creator pilled.
Wow.
I am so excited for the After Barkin possible updates to the Garden State stuff.
There might be, yeah.
And the Bad Dragon stuff, honestly.
And the Bad Dragon, yeah. Bad Dragon these nuts. Bye, everybody.
Ow!